Your live interactive Weather Authority coverage will begin shortly. Your live interactive Weather Authority coverage will begin shortly. Your live Weather Authority coverage starts right now.
Hello, everybody. I hope you guys are all trying to enjoy this evening and staying indoors if you can. Well, because things are very, very slick out there across many parts of the state right now. We are looking at freezing rain and a moderate to maybe at times heavy freezing rain, which is a very bad recipe, and we are going to see this continue for the next several hours. I don't know if you guys, maybe some of you had seen my Facebook post, but I was saying how some of the evening guidance, the evening computer model runs essentially came in, and a lot of the higher resolution computer models decided to come in last minute, a little bit icier than wet as we headed through the evening and tonight, and that is the case across many areas. The temperature in Portland right now is still below the freezing mark. We are looking at some plain rain down towards parts of southern coastal York County, but other than that, we are looking at very icy conditions for many areas. And if you are in Portland, if you're in Biddeford, if you are in Westbrook, if you're in really any of these areas up through the mid-coast, you're looking at some freezing rain right now. And if you stepped outside, yeah, the trees are completely covered in ice. There's icicles hanging off of the bushes and the trees, the cars, everything right now. And this will continue as we head through probably, I would say, 10 or 11 o'clock, and then we will transition over to a little bit of snow before this wraps on up. So let's talk about some of the snowfall totals, and these are as of 7:30, and you can see that, yeah, some areas are getting a lot of snow, which is expected, of course, and we are looking at over a foot of snow in Oxford right now and counting. A lot of these areas still looking at snow up towards the north, and then we will see some areas. I think I saw a report in New Hampshire. I forgot the exact town. 17 inches of snow. And again, it's still snowing in these areas. There's going to be 20-inch reports. I've been saying that for the last couple days. But yeah, Lewiston upwards of 8.8. Livermore Falls right around a foot of snow. Hollis, Standish, Lisbon Falls, say around a half a foot, give or take an inch or so. But yeah, good amount of snow in many areas, and a lot of places in southern Maine are now looking at rain and freezing rain, but most areas looking at a freezing rain right now. Gray, not the best of looks outside, 26 degrees, and we are looking at some freezing rain and sleet in a lot of these areas right now, including areas like Gray. Satellite and radar does show all this pink indicating where the freezing rain and sleet is right now. And it looks like, again, if you are, let me point this out, if you are really anywhere south of this line, you're probably looking at plain rain right now. Portsmouth, Wells, maybe even areas like Kennebunk as well. York, you are looking at plain rain right now. I still say you treat it as if you are, every raindrop is freezing, because of course you don't want to assume that it's just plain rain, but then it is icy and you step outside and slip or something like that. But most areas in southern Maine looking at freezing rain right now. And if you've been watching some of these Facebook Lives, you've seen this radar, and I'm going to continue to show this because this is a very useful radar for people who track these sleet, snow, freezing rain events. And you can see right here, I'll show you exactly where the wintry mix, the sleet, the freezing rain line is right now. And you can almost track it right about here. Anywhere south of this line, that's where the wintry mix is right now. North of it, Rumford, areas like Berlin, New Hampshire, all looking at snow right now. North of that line, it's snow. South of it is where we are looking at a lot of sleet and freezing rain. And areas like, Portland right now, just looking at a moderate freezing rain, which of course is not good because the ice is really starting to accumulate across a good part of the state. And this will continue as we head through the next couple hours. I actually want to see if I can play this out. Let me erase this line. And notice how that line is just not really moving. Eventually, that line is going to come further south, and we will see the snow and sleet, or the wintry mix, transition over to a little bit of rain on the backside of this storm. Let's take a look at the temperatures. It's 30 degrees in Portland, and it's pouring rain, which means it's freezing rain. If it's raining in Sanford, it's 31 degrees. That means it's freezing rain, of course. And same with everybody along the mid-coast up through Bar Harbor. And the temperature right now is 33 degrees in Portsmouth. So you might be looking at, a little bit of a mix of freezing rain and rain where it's maybe freezing on some surfaces. I've actually seen situations like I did earlier today. I noticed the metal surfaces were freezing up when most areas weren't, so it's kind of interesting. So some areas could freeze up depending on the surface it is, if it's a metal surface versus, concrete or something like that. But temperatures are around the freezing mark or right below it. Once you head up towards Rumford and Berlin, it is all snow with temperatures in the lower to middle 20s. A lot of these numbers are going to drop into the low 20s for the overnight hours and into tomorrow morning. So even if there's really not much ice on the roads right now, I did take a walk outside, and I noticed that a lot of the roads are just completely pre-treated, have a lot of salt, have a lot of pre-treatment down. So most of the roads are wet. I mean, I don't think it's still not a good idea, of course, to drive tonight if you don't have to, but a lot of the roads are wet, I'm noticing right now, but when the temperatures drop into the low to mid 20s, that could certainly change. I got to pull up this comment right here. Snowing in Rumford, 18 inches or more of snow. Wow. Yes, absolutely. That is a lot of snow. Bridgeton is freezing rain, 14 inches of snow. Yeah, most areas going to end between about 10 to 20 inches of snow. And we are going to continue with this snow for the next several hours. Flo saying a mix in Skowhegan right now. I would assume that Skowhegan is looking at snow sleet mix. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I would say it's sleet versus freezing rain, but please, again, if you are seeing freezing rain, let me know. Wow, 18 in Rumford. I would love to assume. I think that would be the snowfall total, not the temperature. Definitely it is getting messy out there, Brandy. Absolutely. But yeah, it's just a mess out there. If you don't have to travel, I wouldn't travel. Let's get a look now at hold on. I want to take a look at the forecast, and as we head through this storm, again, we do have this winter storm warning up in all shades of the pink. That is where we are looking at the worst of winter weather. But even down towards southern York County, where we have the winter weather advisory still continuing, things are still slick in some areas, especially on the northern side of York County. If you are, Biddeford, Saco area north, that's, it's very slick in those areas as well. We are going to see that continue again as we head through the next several hours. And let's take a look at the forecast. Again, if we head into this next few hours, I would say it's going to be freezing rain for at least the next 2 to 3 hours for most areas. Eventually, though, we are going to see things start to transition over to a little bit of snow. So here's your forecast as we head through the nighttime tonight. Freezing rain expected to 8, 9, even into 10 o'clock. Then you'll notice a bit of a transition over to some sleet as some cooler air tries to work in, and then snow. The snow is only going to last probably an hour or two, and I'm going to time all this out in about 2 minutes. But the snow is only going to last about an hour or two. It's going to be falling on generally wet or icy surfaces, so I do think that it might stick a little bit. You might get a dusting to an inch on the backside of this as the storm wraps up. Colder air tries to work in behind it, and that's exactly what's going to happen. So let's very slowly time this out. Again, this is one of our high-resolution computer models came in this evening, and it came in a little bit icier. And that's pretty much all of our high-resolution computer models, and I can confirm that to be true as we are still looking at freezing rain in Portland. We are looking at freezing rain for most areas. I do think, though, in southern York County, it is probably plain rain with temperatures running in the low to probably mid 30s in some areas. I'm going to get to some of your guys' comments in just a little bit. I want to continue with this though. And as we head through the 9-10 o'clock hour, you notice that the pink shading starts to move down to the south. Now it's still sleeting, it's still snowing and freezing raining in the Portland area, Portsmouth as well. But now areas at 10 o'clock, 10:30 in Sanford, places like Sanford, for example, now you're starting to transition over to snow. Lewiston, you're probably snowing at 10 or 10:30 tonight. You probably snowing up towards Augusta as well. Still a mix in the mid-coast. That was a tough one. Portland is 27 degrees, and you can see that the snow line moves in. By the time we get to about midnight, most everybody is actually snowing at that point. We'll have some big flakes on the backside of this, I'm sure, and then this will start to wrap up after that. Once we get to about 1-2 o'clock, this moves out of here, and things will start to improve. And then you'll notice, though, the temperatures do drop into the low and mid-20s, so any wet surfaces probably will freeze up as we head through the overnight hours. And that will continue into, again, probably about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning before eventually it starts to move out. 0.1 to 0.3 is what I'm going for most areas, and this is in the dark shading. If you are, again, down towards Portsmouth, you are probably seeing more actual plain rainfall, which is why I have you a little bit lower than most, and then up to the north, where you see up to 0.1 inches up towards places north of Lewiston and Augusta. It's just because you have more snow versus freezing rain and sleet. So 0.1 to 0.3, that's what you would measure on like a tree branch or something like that. And I do think there will be areas that will see isolated areas that will see upwards of 0.4 of an inch of ice, which is certainly enough to cause some pretty big problems. But yeah, a lot of freezing rain in many areas across the state. And I did promise that I would show you the 7-day forecast for this. I know we weren't on air for the 6 o'clock show. We were online. We are going to be on air at 10 o'clock, so make sure you tune in there. I'll continue to give you guys an update. But here's a look at your 7-day. I wanted to show you this, of course, and you can see things improve as we head into the daytime tomorrow. Mostly cloudy skies, breezy though. And then as we head through Monday and Tuesday, temperatures still not above average. I think we're going to run a little bit cooler than where we should be as we head through the next couple days. And then it's unsettled for the milder days of the week, where we're looking at temperatures in the 40s to near 50 for Wednesday and Thursday. It looks like we will see some showers around. Again, a little bit unsettled for the middle of the week. And then right now, it looks like we could dry out Friday and Saturday. We're going to continue to watch that. But temperatures will run milder once we get to the end of the week. So we just got to get through the next 12 hours or so, not even actually, I should say the next 6 or 7 hours, and things will start to improve. I am going to go through some of your guys' comments right now. I want to pull up the radar, though, while I do that. Just let me pull that radar up right about here. And there we go. All right, so let me get to some of your guys' comments. Jen, freezing rain in Buxton. Yeah, I can probably tell you that, yeah, it definitely is probably looking at freezing rain right now in the Buxton area. Sleet in Washington. Yes, a lot of sleet in some areas as well. What else do we have? I appreciate all your guys' reports. 6 inches of snow in Augusta. Thank you, Dan, for tuning in. Looks like some sleet right now, and yeah, it's actually about what I would think as well. Sleeting heavy on South Paris coming down. Wow, that's interesting. You guys will probably be flipping you guys will probably be flipping back to snow pretty soon. That's what I would assume in the South Paris area. Once you head up towards the north, if you are looking at a little bit of sleet, which in my eyes was anticipated through the throughout the evening, but then I do think you will transition to to mainly snow, I would say by 8:30 or 9 o'clock. Sleet pinging off the windows in Lewiston. Pat, thank you for that report. A lot of sleet reports. That's what I'm noticing. Heavy sleet right now. Leamington, 29.4 degrees and 9.4 inches of snow. Freezing rain in Litchfield. Freezing rain in Bowdoin as well. See, you notice that there's not too many plain rain reports. We're looking at a lot of freezing rain and sleet across much of the state. What else do we have? Another report of sleet in South Paris in Norway. Trisha, thank you for that. And yes, this is great. This is great advice. Drive safe if you have to go out, but don't drive if you don't have to. That's my my advice for the night, I guess. Debbie, freezing rain in South China. Yep. Bridgeton, freezing rain and 14 inches of snow right now. Ooh, lights are flickering in North Berwick. There certainly are power outage reports. I haven't looked them up. I can actually do that right now. We're gonna pull these up. Power hang on one second. I wonder if I can. Let's see what they're saying. I'm pulling up the outages. What do we have here? I guess I should have maybe looked this up before, but what are you going to do? Yeah, I'm looking at them right now, and there's certainly power outages, but I'm not seeing a specific number. So anyways, I'm not seeing too many power outages, which is some good news. Let's get back to some of these comments. Power out in Saco, so that there's one of the areas that is looking at it. Mix here in Skowhegan. And, a lot of places are looking at a mix right now, and this will, again, continue. I will track this out another time, so let's talk about what we can expect if you guys are just tuning in. I'm going to pull up what we can expect for the next couple hours, and this is the map I want to show. We are going to see this freezing rain and sleet continue probably through about 9-10 o'clock, but you'll notice this pink shading. I know I just showed this map not too long ago, but I know, again, some of you guys are just tuning in, and you can see that this pink shading is going to continue to sink down to the south. We will see cooler air wrap in behind this storm, and that will continue as we head through probably about 9-10 o'clock is when it will really start to crash down to the south, and you can see that happening here. And then we will see a transition back to snow on the backside of this storm. And we will see probably maybe a dusting to an inch on the backside for most areas. I could see some spots, if you get into some good banding, upwards of maybe 2 inches of snow. But again, not the best of evenings to step outside. Mike Warren, still snowing hard up here in Wilton. Snow in Dixfield. So we are looking at some snow in some areas, of course, especially as you head up towards the north. Julie, what do we got here? About a foot of snow in New Gloucester. Currently freezing, raining. There's been a couple reports of sleet in Buxton. And so we are going to see, again, this sleet continue. And this is interesting. Rain in South Portland. Gabe, I have a question for you. I don't know if you're still watching, if you can comment. But what do the trees look like in South Portland? Is there ice on the trees? Are there ice on the cars or anything like that? If not, I would love to know, because I would love to know if it is just plain rain or freezing rain in the South Portland area, because I can affirm you that the north side of Portland is looking at a moderate freezing rain right now. Pouring freezing rain in Turner. Jojo, thank you for the report. And I might even be pulling some of these up a couple times. Paul, sleet in Standish, just a lot of sleet and freezing rain right now. What else do we have? There's ice on the trees in Old Orchard Beach, according to Jason. Thank you for that. And yeah, so here we go. A lot of ice on the trees. I'm getting a couple comments about South Portland of freezing rain. So I had a feeling it was sleeting and freezing rain. So, I would just be careful no matter where you are around the Portland area, whether you're in South Portland, you're in Falmouth, you're in any of those areas. It's probably freezing rain for everybody. Portland all around the Jetport, according to Adam, I'm sure of that as well. A lot of freezing rain in the Portland area right now. But again, I do think we will see a little bit of a transition over to some snow on the backside. And let's get a look at the radar one more time. And I can show you also that cool map too. But let's take a little bit of a radar tour here. And I want to first zoom in close to southern York County. There was, in my eyes and the National Weather Service's eyes, a reason why southern coastal York County had the winter weather advisory. And you can see where all this green and yellow is. That's actually where plain rain is falling. And the temperature right now is slightly above the 32-degree mark in Portsmouth. So I do think that the Portsmouth area and these areas are looking at just plain rain right now. Could there be some freezing rain mixing in at times? Certainly. But I think most areas in southern coastal York County are just looking at just plain rain at the moment. Portland, moderate to at times heavy freezing rain for the next 3 hours or so. Areas like Freedom, Brunswick as well. If you're traveling along 295 right now, I'm sure it is slick. But again, there's a lot of pre-treatment out. So if you absolutely had to step outside, it's probably passable, but I would stay on the main roads for sure. Coastal Route 1 not looking too good right now. But it's also a situation where Monhegan, a lot of the islands, or right at areas like Booth Bay Harbor, you might be looking at plain rain, but you head 1 or 2 miles inland and it's freezing rain in Wiscasset. Areas like Rockland, you're probably seeing a mix of rain and freezing rain. And then once you head up towards the Bangor area as well. And then this is the tricky part, because I've been saying this all afternoon, where you have the radar beam just struggles in these setups. They do, because you get a beam that runs through the sky that, of course, we cannot see, and that beam picks up on what's falling through it. So if it's, if it's freezing rain versus rain, sometimes it has a hard time determining, is this a freezing raindrop or is it a plain raindrop? And with that being said, you can't follow this exactly, because I can pretty much affirm you that everywhere that you see this very dark blue, what is exactly happening here is the radar beam is picking this up as snow. It's not snow. A lot of this is sleet, because you would look at this radar and think, oh my God, look at those dark blues over Freiburg, over Lewiston, Sebago Lake, places like that. And you think that it's just pouring snow out there. This is sleet, and you can tell by this radar right here, where you can see the correlation coefficient, and what it does is it picks up on those denser particles, which is the sleet pellet compared to a snowflake. So you get a sleet pellet that pings off the roof of your car, and it's a lot more dense than a snowflake that's just a fluffy little snowflake. So it picks up on that denser sleet pellet, and it shows up as like a heavier snowfall, even though it's actually not snow, it's sleet. So anywhere south of where you see this line is where we are looking at sleet. Anywhere north of it is where you are looking at snow. So if you're in Lewiston right now, you're probably looking at sleet. If you're in Augusta right now, you're very likely looking at sleet. Same with Limerick. Now, Freiburg on the other side, if you are in Freiburg, that's where you're probably looking at just plain snow at the moment. At least what I would assume, just judging off of this radar. So we are going to see, again, this continue as we head through the next several hours, and then we will see a transition back to some snow. But expect a lot of ice in the southern part of the state. That's honestly what I'm most concerned about, because, of course, places up towards the north, they've dealt with this snow before. They know what to do. But you just can't do much about ice. You just can't. You can pre-treat roads, but once the temperatures drop into the low 20s tonight, this freezing rain continue. Things, especially the sidewalks, the side roads, they're going to get very icy if they haven't already. So just prepare for that. And I would say tonight, or tomorrow morning, it's going to be bad again out there tomorrow morning, 6, 7, 8 o'clock if you try to get up early. If you have to get up, of course, it is what it is. But if you don't have to leave early to go grocery shopping or do something, do your errands for the day, I would wait a few hours and just let the sun do its magic during the morning, because I do anticipate the roads will be very slippery tomorrow morning before the sun comes up, or before it comes up high enough to really melt anything. I'm going to go through some more comments, then I'm going to head on out of here, and I will see you guys at 10 o'clock. Jonathan, roads are very dangerous. Stay home if you don't need to go out. He's echoing my sentiments right here. 45 minutes to get from Scarborough to Buxton. Yeah, that's not fun. Freezing rain in Skowhegan, sleet in Auburn. Yep, Lewiston, Auburn area I assumed was definitely sleet. What else do we have? Icicles hanging on the wires outside. I don't know where you are, Don, but I assume you're in the southern part of the state, because it is certainly icy out there. Heavy snow in Norway. Yes, the snow's going to continue, though, for some areas. And I should have a bigger list of snowfall accumulations for the 10 o'clock show tonight as well. 10 and 11, of course. We are going to be on at 11 as well. All right, a few more comments here. Freezing rain in Biddeford. So you guys get the idea. All right, I have to pull this one up. The sun is out in Naples. Well, I don't know. I just thought that was funny. Freezing rain in Hollis. Brian, thank you for your report. Freezing raining in Livermore. Again, moderate freezing rain continuing across much of the state. Freezing rain coming down very fast, very icy. Again, I was just outside and I saw, a lot of icicles hanging off the trees and things like that. Sleeting in Sebago right now. I could see that, absolutely. This is pretty much it. Again, we are going to see this ice and stuff continue as we head through 9-10 o'clock. Then it transitions over to some snow on the backside. Don't travel if you don't need to. That's my best advice. You guys know the deal. And the sunshine peaks out a little bit tomorrow. We'll see a good amount of clouds, but things will certainly improve for Sunday. It will stay chilly, though, with temperatures in the 30s. I'm going to head on out of here. Again, tune in 10 and 11 o'clock tonight. I'll have a later update, and I will let you know what's going on. I hope you guys all have a good evening. If you have to travel, stay safe. And if you don't have to travel, hang out at the house and watch the news tonight. All right, I'll see you guys later.